and 4 of the patients who were infected with green light. Please accept our deepest sympathies.
Sharice Long, one of the green light victims. Is Sharice alive? It's about 5'2", dimples when she smiles.
Unfortunately, I can't answer that
Why
right
the hell
now.
not? You can tell us 14 died, but you can't tell us who?
We can have counselors talk you through the process of identifying your
I don't want no
family
white people
members.
telling me nothing about my daughter. I'm asking you,
Y'all wouldn't be
sister.
doing us like this if we were white.
This has nothing to do with
Is my
race.
daughter alive? Is she alive? Is she alive? Where the hell are we?
Quiet. I told you, people. Are listening.
Don't be shushing me. I'm a grown-ass man, and I want to know where the hell are we going?
There are voice-activated sensors in these woods. If you value your daughter's life, you'll shut the hell up.
This could be some kind of setup, y'all. We don't know who's behind this mask and who she could be working for. You fucking judge me.
Alrighty.
What's up, everybody? Happy Friday. This is KyTalk Live with Mike Morgan, and tonight, very special guest, the talented actor, writer, director, and so much more, Nakia Dillard. What's up, Nakia?
Hey, thank you for having me, man.
Thank you too, brother. Thank you too. I really do appreciate this.
Thank you, brother.
Now, first off, of course, you have a huge resume when it comes to acting, directing, you name it. You're a very talented guy, and you've stayed busy for many, many years. Right now, I would like to talk about how you got into acting, because you were really young when you discovered you wanted to be an actor.
Yeah. It was crazy because I started acting when I was 14, and I was extremely shy, man. Like it was really hard for me to hold a conversation, be around people.
Wow.
So I was watching the Cosby Show, and I just got inspired, and I just felt like I could be Theo, one of his friends or something, you know. So I didn't know how to get into it. So it was that was sorry the call. In Philly, not Philly, Freedom Theater, and I started taking classes there. And my very first audition, I had to like learn lines, and I never did that before. Literally, man, when I got in there, I forgot every word in that thing. So, I don't know if my mother it was flat dollar bills behind my head or whatever it was, but it got me in there. I was glad. So, so I did that, and it's just been kind of like it was rough in the beginning because it was a whole new world, you know, like being able to stand in front of people and have to talk was crazy for me. So seeing the other people in the class or other teenagers doing it, and I had to work, I had to keep working at it, and yeah, man, it just became a love, and I just kept on going with it, and luckily, I've been pretty blessed where I've been working up until now. I'm still and like right now, even though we're in this pandemic, I have projects lined up. So soon the doors open up, I could just bust on out.
Yeah, that's outstanding. You've been doing a lot of casting calls and auditions online now. That's part of how this pandemic works when it comes to acting. Tell us a little bit about that. What's that like for you now?
Well, right now, like you said, everything's online. So just learning that whole angle of, you know, usually when you go to an audition, is someone there that's taping you. Now you have to tape yourself. So it's just learning the position, learning how to, like where you're looking, just different things like that. Just making sure that you're doing everything that you're supposed to do as far as taping it yourself. Editing now you can edit it from your phone and computer. So So it's showing you a lot of different things to do.
So would you
Versus
say
before, you
would you say it's a little more beneficial for you? Because I mean, I know how it is going into a casting call. You can have people at a table. It's the most awkward feeling. Give you the papers, they read this to us. Now here you can actually do it over again, or is it like right there live?
no, it's not live. It's
Okay.
luckily it's not live.
Yeah.
But but I kind of like both. Like I like actually walking in the room. Like even though the people are there, but just feeling that feedback a little bit, whether they nod their head or whether they don't do anything. But at least you say thank you, walked in the room, you kind of gave them something. Um, but when you're self-taping, it's just all you. So it's you doing your best judgment of what you think the role requires, and you know, but it's all good. I'm enjoying all of the processes.
Yeah, I mean, that's got to be amazing. That's something you've been passionate about, like you were a teenager. Prior to acting, I hear you were artistic as well. You could draw.
Oh man, yeah.
I've never seen you work there. I'm gonna have to check that out sometime. Is it something you still get into? Draw, paint, like that? What's up, Jack?
I haven't I haven't in a while, honestly, but since I was like 5 years old, I could draw. Like you could visibly see like if I drew Popeye the Sailor Man, like it'll look like Popeye versus like like some kids, they draw stuff. And they're like, hey, look,
Like,
you
what
don't
is
know
it? What is it? It's Popeye. I know that.
right.
Oh
So
man.
yeah, so I could, you could visibly see that what it was. So it was good, and it kept me, I guess, by me being so quiet and stuff like that. I was always observing people, and so I could draw, people. I could draw cartoons, different things like that. So that was my first introduction to the arts, doing that.
Twice, and it's hard for me to shy sometimes. Seriously. It really is. Um, so with acting, because obviously you're not shy anymore. I mean, we see you on TV, we see you in movies, name it. But how do you think you overcame that? Was it something like acting, of course, more about imagination, pretending to be someone else? But you personally in your life, you've done so much, and we're going to get into that. How do you think we overcame that shyness?
I think just the more I practice, the better I got over it. Like I mean, I still get nervous. I'm still shy in certain aspects of my life,
Hmm.
but I know what I need to do to get what I need to do. So like I'm gonna tell you, like every time I get on a set, because it's new people, it's new people that may not have seen your work before, or they may have. So you still gotta meet their standard of what they want. So for the ones that are like, oh man, I love your work, or the ones that's like, hey, what have you done? What have you been in? So you gotta still rock it.
Absolutely, give it your all every time.
Yeah. So I just I listen to a lot of like motivational self tape self help type stuff to kind of keep you motivated and inspired. Um, and I think just through the practice, it just makes you overcome it.
Absolutely, getting out of your comfort zone,
Right.
forcing yourself to do something. Yeah, that's awesome. Amazing. Now, mentioning working with different actors all these years, I have to ask. This is a weird one, but any crazy horror stories? You don't have to give us any names, but there are some actors you hear bad stories about. You have one.
Let me see.
Like Mariah Carey throwing a fit because you got her the wrong water or something, and you're like, you were just trying to say hi to her. I mean,
Nah, honestly, I haven't had any weirdo situations like that. Like everybody's been pretty cool and sweet, like people who was like my idol, like 'cause that's like I enjoyed the Cosby Show.
yeah,
So I worked with Alicia Rashad.
really,
Now, it was I'm trying to tell you, man, that was like I'm still like, did that really happen? It's like a dream, man. Like literally, like we like I'm looking at how far our feet are from each other. I'm like, yeah, this is shot like right here. The, from the Cosby Show. You know.
Exactly.
So I had a line, she had a line. Like I'm talking back and forth, and in my mind, I'm like still in shock. Like, yo, I'm acting with Felicia Rashad.
See, that's awesome. And not many
But
people
no,
can say that, you know.
Yeah, man. So like recently, I was just working with Idris Elba. We did a project. I was helping him with his dialect. I was a dialect coach, so that was great. I worked with so many people, like Kerry Watt. Matter of fact, this film right here, this is called Night Catches Us. So I worked with Kerry Washington, Anthony Mackie, Jamie Hector. It was just some great people. I worked with Bill Duke. Bill Duke directed me. Now we're working in Black Lightning together. So it's just, man, I'm telling you, it's just been a true blessing. All of it.
Now, I mentioned everybody who's been in my chat. Again, this is Nakia Dillard, actor, director, writer, and he's doing quite a bit more we'll get into. But I'm a comic book, so tell me about Black Lightning, how you got the part, and your experience there. What's that?
Oh man, it was crazy because I was a big fan of the show before while I was auditioning, because I literally auditioned for the show like 5 or 6 times before I landed Terrence Long. And when I got the role, and it's crazy because I was auditioning for like man number one, cop number two, but then when this came along, I had a name. My name was Terrence. Then I had a last name, Terrence Long.
It gets better. Yeah.
It gets better. So it was great, man. Great being on set. The first day I got on set, I had a chance to work with Christine Adams and Black Lightning. Like we were all in the same room, you know. So it was great, man. It was a fun time, and it still is. Like, they called me back, so my character is recurring.
Awesome. Yeah. That,
And as of yet, I didn't, I'm still alive. So.
and part of the Arrowverse on CW now, so this is really cool.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly, man. So it's just a blessing, man. I'm truly excited just to be a part of that. All the actors, the crew, everybody's great.
I'll just say Chris Williams too, like so.
Yeah,
I've always liked him. He actually was born and raised in Germany, well, like as I was. And one thing I'll always remember him in, he showed up in an episode of Lois and Clark, New Adventures of Superman, way back in the 90s. I will always remember him playing the villain. He freaked me out a little.
Oh wow! Okay. I'm gonna have to check that out. The Lois and Clark.
Lois and Clark. Yeah, Dean Cain played Superman back then.
All right, I'm gonna check that out. Yeah. But he's a great actor, though, man. Chris.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, I've got somebody here asking a question in the chat. So I'm going to go ahead. I think that's it. But let's see here. So what genre are most of your movies? Well, we did jokingly talk about him playing a cop in almost everything, but he's done a lot more than that as well. So I'll let him answer this
one. What genre? That's a good question. Because I kind of play a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it's been man, I've played a monk recently.
Oh wow.
Played I'm telling you, it's all over. Like, that's another thing. Like, I've been really blessed in my career to kind of like just not play the same things over and over. I mean, I have played like cops and drug dealers. I played now I've played superheroes. I played like I'm in this film called Jade. It's an indie film, but it's about a Asian superhero.
Yeah.
And I'm like her stepfather, but I have powers, and it's pretty cool, man. So
now, is that something that's still in post production, or is it out yet?
Yeah, it's still in post production.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually have a lot of stuff that's not out yet that I've been like working on, and going back and forth to Atlanta and LA and different places.
That's got to be
Yeah.
rough right now, especially.
Yeah, yeah. Right now, I was on it, man. When this Corona thing hit, and they were shutting down like different cities and
Mhm.
stuff like that. I was in Atlanta, and I was, I didn't know what they were going to do, so I was just like, let me just get on back to Philly and just post up there and just chill.
Made the right
So,
call.
yeah, man. So I just literally just been here. I just been catching up on reading, watching films, uh, auditioning,
Yes.
studying, doing like on Instagram, man. You could be on everybody's live and just get information, different agents and all types of stuff. So I just doing a little bit of everything, man.
So you're still keeping busy, which is great. You're still productive.
Yeah, yeah.
Which you seem like you're always busy anyway. And I want to get into, and this is, I've said this before, you've been an inspiration. I wish you would have been around for me when I was a little bit younger, and I had dreams to follow, and I obviously didn't live up to those. I decided to go a different route a little. But you do quite a bit out in Philadelphia to help out youth out there and inspiring them. You came up with what is it? I Can Entertainment Solutions and I Can Performing Arts, which I Can. Tell me how you came up with that name first, which for those that do not know, it's AIKAN.
Well, it's actually my name backwards.
Nakia. See, that's what I thought. Okay.
So, but I pronounce it I can. So
I
it's
can.
like a positive play on words. So you're saying like I can act or I can entertain. So I start when I first started my business. I had a children's entertainment company where I would hire teenagers, 14 and up, to do parties around the city. So just creating jobs because a lot of the kids were already creative and they could dance, they could act, they could sing and different things like that. So I created a company so that I can hire them to make some money.
See, that's
And
awesome.
it was great, man, for a while. And I was still acting, doing films and stuff like that. And I would do parties, and some of the parents would always say, "Hey, how can I get my kid involved in acting and stuff like that?" And the place that I took acting classes at, they were starting to kind of like close up. So it wasn't really nowhere for a lot of the youth to go. So, and then I was starting to get a lot of calls from different people. Like if I was working in the film and they were saying like, yeah, we're looking for some kids to be in this part or different things like that. So I couldn't really refer any kids because I didn't want to, I didn't want them to miss out on an opportunity because they didn't know.
Yeah.
So then I started the acting school to kind of get them trained up, and then I started with adults too. So we go from age 7 all the way through adult. And I have a guy who was he was 67 and he booked a film.
Wow.
I have a 7-year-old. Matter of fact, she may be 8 now, but she's working on Servant on Apple TV.
Nice.
It was her first job, first audition.
Yeah.
And I have several teenagers that's doing different things. Like I did a film with Vivica Fox, and the lead kid was actually from my class. I did a film with David Mann, and one of the teenagers was from my entertainment company, and he could dance, he could act, he was great. And he was having a little bit of issues, like, he was having some hard times at the time. So I put him into this film, and when I say like it changed, like he started his own company. He just started doing different like entrepreneurial things that he never thought he could do.
Yeah.
And just through this company and just through the entertainment, and I support them. Like if you look at my page, I'm always posting something about something they're doing.
Oh yeah. Well, that's the cool thing. It's like not just acting. You're like a life coach to so many people out there. And I mean, you can go just about any place in Philly, and people are going to know who you are. I mean, it's a great thing. Dude, yeah. So tell me some of the other success stories you have out of I Can, because again, I wish I would have had something like that in my life. It is what it is. I'll just have to start bugging you on the side now. But I will say I do like the fact on your webpage, on the website, you can actually donate to the students too. You can have a student's name, go in there and donate to them, which I think is an amazing thing. With COVID, yeah, with COVID right now, how's that going with all these all the members of ICANN? I mean, how are you working with them still, or are you able to?
What I do now, as far as the entertainment company, I can't move that right now, but as far as the acting classes, we're virtual now, so anybody anywhere can join the class.
That's
if
awesome.
They want to take an acting class, they could be in Germany if they want, or they could be wherever, and they can sign right on up. And I have I work with a team of people too, so
Very
I
talented.
have different acting coaches. But all of the teachers that I hire are all working actors, and then I bring directors through. I bring casting people through, just so they can ask questions, and even I bring this Screen Actors Guild through too.
Wow.
So I do a workshop, like not even a workshop, but I bring them to the class. So I'll tag them in virtually, and they can get a chance to ask questions, because that was one of the things that I couldn't do when I was starting out. At the time, I was, you know, doing. I heard of the Screen Actors Guild, but I really didn't know what it was. I knew it was a union, and then talking to a lot of my friends at the time, they were all against, like telling me not to join. Like, if you join, you're not going to work again. All this like scary type stuff. So, but all the actors that I looked up to were all SAG.
Hard to say.
So I'm like, they're all SAG actors. So I'm like, I want to be in their category. I want to do what they're doing. So I went to a convention. It was an actors convention, and SAG was there. So I had asked the question, if I was to join SAG, would I be a glorified extra, or would I just, and they were like, nah. They were like, it's not a tier program in SAG. They were like, if you do extra work, you're still SAG. If you get a film and you're saying lines, you're still SAG. It's just different contracts. And I'm like, wow. So, and it literally, my first SAG job was The Wire. And right after The Wire, I got called back. They made my character recurring. So I came back on like 2 other times on the 3rd season. And then I booked a lottery commercial that ran for like 5 years.
No kidding.
Man. And literally, man, I've been working ever since. Man, I live as a SAG actor. I've been working, so that's one of the reasons why I bring SAG to the class, so that if this is something that they want to do, at least they have all the information. You see what I mean? So they can make the decision, not me saying, "Oh, well, you only took 2 classes, so
Yeah.
It's up to them, So I just put all the pieces in place so that they can ask how to like, I bring directors through so they can say, well, what do you look for in an actor when they come in the room? They'll give their spiel, and I have other people that may give different answers, but at least they can hear it and understand, like, how to be flexible.
Yeah.
How to be like water when you're in these situations. So I bring in agents, I bring in other actors. Like, I just had Chris Emule from Black Lightning. He plays TC.
Yeah.
So I had him come through and speak to my students. I had Trey Chaney from The Wire, who plays Poop. I had him come through. And I have a couple more people lined up to come through and talk. So I do that. I used to have it in person, where I had where the actors or like, I had Jasmine Sullivan come by, and that was a physical, so she was there.
Wow.
They could actually take pictures with her and stuff like that.
I bet they love that.
Oh man, they had a ball. And Jazz, man, she's so cool. A lot of Philly people. I brought in rappers. Part of the, like, Jay-Z's camp, I brought some of them in so they could talk to them if they wanted to learn how to rap. I brought comedians in.
Wow.
Just I just bring in different people that they can touch and talk to, and a lot of them watch my page, so they see their progression.
Yeah.
So they may come back and say, "Oh, I remember you from the class," and whatever. So it's been cool, man. It's been a really good journey.
Well, I tell you what, I bet it means a lot to some of these kids too. I mean, to be able to have these experiences, to have somebody that's actually looking out for them and mentoring them and helping them with the trade, something they're passionate about. Because, like you said, back when you were younger, it probably wasn't as easy. Right now, we have access to the internet and everything else. I mean, and as you said,
Right.
more parts. And when you and I were kids, gosh, there were probably a handful of television shows, and it all went off at midnight. So
Yeah, exactly.
and now it's
Exactly.
24/7. So we're entertained. There's no doubt about it.
Right.
The Wire. Now that was a really, really good show. I have to ask, was that actually filmed in Baltimore?
Yes.
Okay, it was. So you did have to do some traveling for that show. Tell me a little bit
Yeah.
about that, because that was a pretty interesting and intense series.
Yeah, it was fun, man. I met some really good people. Like I said, I'm still cool with Trey Chaney, and a lot of these people I met after The Wire, like Idris. Like I just met him last summer, and like I said, we were on the same show, but we just shoot different days, different scenes, and that's how people think like when you are part of a show, like everybody knows you.
Yeah.
Nah, nah, you work your scene and then you leave.
Yeah.
Unless actors are involved in that scene, then you might see them and they can be able to talk to them. But no. Um, so like I just met Jamie, who plays Marlo on The Wire, because of this film right here, Night Catches Us.
Wow.
So I played TT, and I was Jamie Hector's like muscle basically. So we became cool. But working on the show and just seeing all the talent, it was just great, man. I just really had a great time. And like the streets that we named, like in our particular scenes, we
Hmm.
were really on the streets. Yeah. So it was a thing where like it was a little crazy, you know what I'm saying? Like if they had like if you had on a cop uniform, you had to put a bag over you
Oh wow.
because you might get attacked. Yeah. So
That's kind of
luckily
scary
I was
right there.
undercover.
Yeah, that's the one time
Yeah,
you weren't a
my
cop.
character was undercover. Yeah, I was the undercover guy.
Like, yeah.
So I never had to wear a uniform.
Oh, that's awesome. Uh, Speaking of cops, you were actually a cop in Split as well, and I want to bring that one up because that was another. You've done, like I said, check out Nakia Dillard's IMDb. You can also check out his YouTube channel, which there's demo reels, lots of footage from ICANN. You have to check all of this out. You really do. He's a talented guy, and obviously
Thank
just a super gentleman. I mean,
Thank you,
Nakia, anytime, brother, anytime. But Split, what was that like, and how did you get involved with that one? I mean, it was a crazy movie too.
Yeah, that was it was a lot of fun, man. Um, I I worked. I only worked one day on that set,
Really?
and but this is the crazy part. Like, um, I went to a Christmas party, and one of the DPs was there at the party, and he was like, "Hey, what's up, Nakia?" He's like, "I think they cut your scene," and I was like, "Wow, Merry Christmas! Thank you,
Wow.
thank you for that gift."
Yeah, exactly. You could have waited a little, couple weeks. Well,
So, but so I had a scene that they didn't show. So you saw that scene when I walked across and I was talking about Miss Fletcher and stuff like that. But I had a scene where I actually had a meeting with the parents of the young lady.
oh wow.
So yeah, it was her family came up after she was in the cop car. So um, I'm sorry, I'm getting these texts,
Oh,
but
you're good to go.
but yeah. So it was a scene where she like I was talking to her parents about what was happening, and then they said a few things, and they left with her. So I see why M Night didn't put that in there, because it kind of left it open
Yeah.
when with her just in the cop car. You see what I'm saying? But we still shot like multiple things. Um, but yeah, it was interesting, man. M Night is a really cool dude. Um, he knows what he wants. Is very secretive. Like you don't get to read the full script. Like you just get your scene. You know what I'm saying? And you just like you may not even know who your character is. Like you just
Just know your lines or a couple of them. Yeah.
You just know your lines and just go.
Well, and I tell you what, I never saw the sequel to that coming. I mean, when I first heard about that, I'm like, you got to be kidding! This not no. And it was a big secret. Even when the next movie was released, nobody knew it was a real sequel to everything else that had taken place before. Unbreakable with Sam Jackson, and so that was a spoiler alert for people. But I mean, it's been a year or two, so come on.
Right. Yeah, if y'all haven't seen it by now.
I know, come on, it's not my fault now.
Right.
But M Night does seem like the type of guy who would be just very, very picky about. He does, like, he's a guy with a vision. He wants to do what he wants to do, and and you've seen it with his movies. They're very meticulous. Whether you liked them or not, his path, it's always unpredictable.
Right. And even when you see, you just don't know what is going to be in the film, what's not. Like it was a young man who was, I forget the young man's name, but he's all throughout. When if you buy Split and you watch the deleted scenes,
yeah,
he's all throughout that.
Really,
you don't see him at all in the film. Yeah. So you see how much M. Night shoots. He shoots like all of his ideas and see what works and what moves the story.
He probably has a whole nother movie's worth of footage that never gets used. Yeah. And you probably see a lot.
Make a whole nother film just on that.
Just on that, yeah. And you probably see a lot of that because one of the interesting things you were mentioning earlier, people don't realize how actors have to work. So, of course, filming out of order and a lot of different things. You might be talking to somebody and he's not really there.
Yeah, man.
So
that happens.
Yeah, I mean,
I did that before. I did a film called Touched.
Yes.
And I was working with Alimi Dillard, and he was in California, and I was shooting a scene here in Philly with the directors, and we were supposed to be in the same car. So I was just doing lines with the director, and then he did the same thing in L.A. Yeah. So he just said the lines with the director, they taped them, and they put it together. It looked like we were in the same car.
Movie magic.
I mean, man, it's amazing.
It is. It's really cool what they can do. So,
yes, it's true.
What was I going to ask here? I did have a couple questions. Here's one. If down the road, which they should, and I'm an advocate for this, when they make a movie about you, who would you like them to have play you?
Oh wow, man! That's Dang, I don't even know. I never even thought of that.
I have to have someone that stumps people. I have to do that every time. I feel like that's my thing. Yeah.
I never thought of that. Like, but now I'm gonna think about
it. All right. Oh, we can. No, anytime we can circle back to that one, and I want to see the movie someday, so I'll have to keep an eye open.
Okay.
Okay. Outside of your career, outside of all the community work you do, what's a normal day in the life of Nakia like? What is it you like to get out and do? What are some of the best places that you like to hang out at in Philly?
Wow. Well, I mean, I'm a simple guy, man. I just love going to the movies. I love eating. I go to restaurants.
Don't we all? Especially right now.
So yeah, I mean that's where I'm usually at, man. I love art,
Yep.
So that's I read a lot. I'm always trying to like learn something new. So that's all I do, man. I'm pretty bored, man.
Not do a lot of stuff. That's far from boring. As far as books go, what are you into? As far as it nonfiction, fiction? Like for me, for instance, you won't find my bookshelf with anything but science for the most part. Maybe a few military theme, but it's all science. It's the same thing. I just want to learn something. Like I'm gonna go ahead and learn geology today, and I won't. I don't retain any of it, but it's still fun to read.
Yeah. Like with me, like I'm reading. I read a Les Brown book. It's like I read a lot of like motivational type books or educational books. Like I was reading about financial literacy. I was reading about economics. What else? Just read. I read Rich Dad Poor Dad. Um, what else about?
Now,
Yeah, I was reading. I just read. Well, I'm still reading this, but I was reading. The Wayans brothers. They have a book, and I was reading that, and that's pretty interesting. I was reading Bryan Cranston's book. So it's like a lot of, like I said, stuff about either biographies on people or education books, acting books I read, stuff like that.
well, I'm going to tell you right now, after this show, one of the first things I'm doing is going upstairs and asking my wife. I want to say telling, but I'm going to be asking, like, can I please take some acting lessons online with Nakia Dillard? So you'll be seeing more of me there too. But Les Brown, he's a motivational speaker as well, isn't he?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
if I remember correctly, because there's one line of his I've always loved, and he talks about basically you want something as much as you want to breathe. I think he was the one that said that. When you want something as much as you want to breathe, that always stuck with me. And I'm paraphrasing. I know I'm just destroying what he actually said, but he basically talked about going out in the water in an ocean and just going into the water goes over your face and your nose, and in that feeling that you want just to catch your breath, you want to get that air in there. He's like, when you want success as bad as you want that air, he's like, that's when you're gonna move forward and progress. And I'll always remember that.
Right. Because I'm telling you, man, like, especially now, like with this corona and all of that, but this is it's a very exciting industry, but it can be a very
Unpredictable.
like, yeah, unpredictable, because you don't know, like, you're just putting stuff out there, and if it works, it works. If it don't, it don't.
Yeah.
So, like, if you audition, it's no guarantee that you're going to book the job just because you're auditioning. And so a lot of times what I do is I forget about it, because I'll drive myself crazy looking at the phone like, oh man, I tore that audition up. I know they're going to call, and you don't get the call.
Well, and I've had this conversation a million times with other actors as well, that because I will always remember one story in which an actor probably did 200 something auditions before he ever landed his first role. He did eventually, he made it big, but 200, can you imagine? Most people would give up. I probably would have at the time. You need that push, you need that motivation, you got to have that right mentality to continue, and obviously I didn't. But so
yeah, man, it's and that's the thing. It's like it's like one of the quotes in the story that Les Brown talked about when he talked about the bamboo tree.
mm-hmm.
How if you miss watering it one day, it dies. So, and then on the 5th year, it grows like 70 feet. So it's the same thing with business, same thing with acting. It's like you got to keep nurturing it every day. You may not see any growth at all, but you got to keep that faith that you will one day. And you just got to keep going. You just got to keep hitting it. But that's mainly what you got to do is you got to believe in yourself. You got to have faith, and you just got to keep pushing. And you can't worry about what other people think of you, because what they think of you don't really matter, because you got to keep, this is for you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So you just got to keep going. But yeah, man, doing 200 auditions I've done, man. Like I said, like even for The Wire, I auditioned for The Wire maybe 10 or 15 times before I landed just a role on The Wire, the role that you saw.
Yeah.
Because I auditioned for the first season, I auditioned for the second season, and I landed in the third season.
And that's exactly what it is. You have to keep going, and you have to have that mentality to do it, that strength to keep pursuing it. So, obviously you do, because I've seen your resume, I've seen what you've done, I've watched you on the big screen. It's amazing. It really is.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
And it's funny, you were talking about you can't worry about other people, and I agree with you wholeheartedly. As a kid, I was shy, just like you. And it took me up until 20 or 30s to realize, and the one secret to me becoming more open with everybody was quit caring what everyone else thinks. You can't find true happiness until you quit worrying about what everyone else thinks about you.
Right.
So
it's just like what you're doing right now. I mean, you're doing a show. This is your show, and you can do whatever you want to do with it. You can ask whatever questions. You can promote it. You can put it on. Whatever you decide to do is your show. You see what I mean?
I do.
So, and that's the thing. Like, you know, a lot of people are like, "Oh man, you know, it got to be this way. It got to be that way." You just got to do it. You just got to take that step and just move. And you never know what greatness is within that step, or even just saying the word yes. You know, and there's a lot of power in the word yes, man.
Absolutely.
You know, just because it's scary. When you audition, that's the easy part, honestly. And they say, "Hey, you booked it," and then you say yes again. But now you got to go to work. Now this is where it counts.
Yes, yeah.
So you gotta submit. You know, you just gotta give it your all. You gotta be all in with the director. You gotta be all in with the words of the writer. And that's another thing too. A lot of a question I get a lot, like from the students. You know, can I get in there and make up my own stuff? Because you know they see the blooper rolls, they see different things on TV, and they think like, oh, you know, I could just say anything. It's all about my personality. Nah, it's lines.
Yes.
And there's a writer there for a reason. So you got to say those words that the writer wrote.
Yeah, there's a vision that somebody's already put out there. They don't want somebody coming in and saying, "Oh, this will be better."
Exactly. Yeah, I'm gonna come in and just say whatever. So nah, man, it's, you know, it takes a lot of training, a lot of practice, and that's where it comes, man. You know, the hard work.
Now, what's your dream role? Is there a role that you've always wanted to take on that you haven't had the chance to do just yet?
I have a few people that I would love to play.
Oh, please tell, yeah.
I would love to play Marcus Garvey. You know, I would love to do a story on him. I would love to play which I I'm in the mix of doing some stuff now, but I would love to play Les Brown, you know.
That would be cool.
Yeah,
oh, that'd be cool.
I'm in you know, some stuff now, but but different people like that, I would love to put out there and into the world, and just show people's struggle, people's life that are making a difference or change the perspective of the way people thought and think and still is. Yeah, I would love that.
And Les Brown, I can see that. Garvey, what draws you to Garvey, Marcus Garvey, as far as portraying him in a film someday? Hopefully, I'd love to see that.
But this is his entrepreneurship, like the fact that like in those times, he changed the reality of believing in your own self.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just like he just changed the whole the perspective. Like he spawned people like Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, like showing them that they could do it.
Yeah.
You know, because before then, you know, people looked down on us where we, you know, and he was like, no, you're special. You know, you're beautiful too. You know.
And
So,
his story is amazing, by the way. For anybody who's never read about Marcus Garvey, you should. Just an amazing person. He really is. And yeah, there's so much we could talk about with his life and his accomplishments, his challenges. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah, he did a lot, you know.
I did mention doing somewhat political, but I do want to ask one weird question, and I hope this is okay, but have you dealt with any racism throughout your career? Because I live in Kentucky, so if that tells you anything, I've dealt with some racism. But I mean, it to me, it seems to be something that has made a comeback. It seems to have been emboldened recently, and I see it more than I would like to. Is it something you've ever had to really deal with?
I'm trying to remember. I think when I was first starting out, like it was just certain roles that kind of had a stereotypical twist to it, where it just wanted, just wanted you to keep, like when you read the script, it would have different things in there where the character is doing stuff but no reason for it.
As you said, the stereotypical. Yeah.
Right. So it was just like some questions of different things, that I dealt with and, refused to kind of to do. Sorry, I'm getting all these messages, but
you're definitely good.
yeah, it's crazy, but yeah, so I turned down some things, different roles and stuff because my whole thing is what is the story? What is the character? What is the character saying? How can it move? Like, cause I've played drug dealers and stuff like that, but it was a reason for the character to do that.
Yeah.
It was like his back was up against the wall and nothing else was happening for him and stuff like that. But you know, but you know, but other than that, it was mainly those type of situations where the writing just implied no substance to it.
It was just ridiculous. No, and I that's awesome. I will say, especially right now, I love seeing it because there's so much more diversity with everything when it comes to women, men, minorities, whatever else. I mean, there's so much room to do. One of my favorites right now, and you actually were part of the movie Creed, filmed in Philadelphia.
Oh, yeah.
But Michael B. Jordan is playing a character in a movie coming out later on this year called Without Remorse, one of my favorite books as a teenager. And, well, in the book, in every portrayal on film, the guy was always Caucasian. So to have Michael B. Jordan step in just makes me so happy. I'm sitting there, it's like there's nothing that makes this character, anything but what his name is. There's nothing, no background that says he has to be white. He can be Samoan or Hawaiian or, it doesn't matter. And so having Michael B. Jordan, because another talented actor, this guy is just an amazing actor.
Yeah.
I just felt like it was the perfect cast. It really stuck with me. I can't wait to see the movie. I think it's December coming out now.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Right now is a great time, I would say, because you can create your own platforms. You can tell your story, and you don't have to wait for people to write your story. You got access to places like this. Like I saw someone do a Instagram web series where each episode was like a minute long. Now you can do it on the stories now. So it's just it's so many ways now to create, and if it's a story that you need to be told out there, you can do it how you see it, and I think that's how it was before, where it was always another group of people that was putting out what they thought, like how people would act or different things like that. But now it's changed. So now you can do your own situation, which is great.
Well, I tell you, as horrible as the pandemic is and the challenges we face, and I know it's a world changer for you as well. It's brought out a lot of talent. I mean, you see things like you said, Instagram, all the different social media platforms. There's just a ton of things happening right now. Right. So, and I don't know, it's just an amazing thing. I am serious. I would love to actually take some acting classes. If I can actually get personal tutelage from you, I might do another show where it's just that. People get to watch me embarrass myself and you try to mold me into something great. So I will definitely be checking out your website and signing up. There's no doubt about that. I just got to get the wife's permission first.
All right.
But I really want. I will, man, and I'll be. I'm going to be in touch, and I'll be bugging you here and there.
Yeah, I'm here, man.
But I do want to say thank you, brother. I really do. I appreciate having you on the show, and I hope to do it again here soon.
Such a pleasure, man. This was great. Good
Absolutely.
To see you again, man. This is great.
Oh, you too. And for everybody else, be sure to check out The Wire. You'll love it. He's got lots of upcoming projects. Black Lightning on the CW. I'm a comic book geek, so I'll be watching all of that again here soon. But I do want to say much love to everybody. And again, Nakia Dillard.
Thank you, good brother. Take care, y'all.
You too. Thanks again for hanging out. If you had as much fun as I did, be sure to hit that follow button. But remember, the best way to support